live review session for exam number one, but I just wanted to share with you all of the information that I had shared with the group. Let me first start by telling you a little bit about the format of the exam. The exam is 14 multiple choice questions, and then there are 4 problems. Now, each of those problems have multiple parts to them, so it may be more about 16 problems that you're actually working. There's also one short answer question that is really just kind of meant to ask you to tell me a little bit about your understanding of one of the computations that you're doing for one of the problems. In terms of preparing for the exam, my advice to you would be to really focus on the information that's in the learning area that I created for you that's available through Canvas, and also using the review worksheet and the PowerPoint that are available to you through Canvas. The PowerPoint will really help you to prepare for the quiz questions, and then the worksheet obviously will help you prepare for the problem solving parts. The place where I think people tend to get tripped up on this exam is essentially with the material that you've learned in Chapter 7. And so Chapter 7 is where you're now asked to make this conceptual link from answering problems that are about a single X value and then changing that to answering questions about a sample mean. Once you know you're using a sample mean, then you need to use standard error in the denominator instead of standard deviation. And so that's really the tricky part on the exam. So one idea that I have that might help is if you were to take the review worksheet and just cut it into strips so that you have each of the problems separately, and then kind of shuffle those up and pull out one of those strips and read the question and make sure that you're able to clearly understand if it's asking you a question about a single score, a single value of X, or if it's asking you a question about a sample mean relative to the sampling distribution of sample means. That would be a great way to practice making sure that you don't make that mistake on the exam. The length of the exam, you have 4 hours to complete it, but my guess is that most people will finish probably in less than an hour. I think some people who take a little more time, particularly with word problems, might take as long as an hour and a half to 2 hours, but I think that's probably the longest that most people will need. So the 4 hours should give you plenty of time to finish the exam. Please do look at the information that's provided that talks about the instructions for the exam. You can even go ahead and print out the academic integrity statement, the Z-score, and even the formulas in advance if you want to. When you take the exam, you'll go into the Canvas location for the exam and you'll see a link that has your name on it. You'll click that link and it's going to open up a Word document that's the exam itself. Be sure to hit Enable Content at the top so that the formatting comes out and looks like it should. And then what I'd really like you to do, if you're able to, is just to print the exam out and to do all of your work right there on the exam. If you are uncertain about your ability to print, or if you know that you're not going to be able to print, you could certainly leave the exam up on your computer and do all of your work on just blank paper, number the problems clearly, and scan that back into me before the 4-hour window closes. When you scan your exam in, I can't remember for sure, but I think that there's a spot for you to upload the academic integrity statement separately. If so, please do that. If I only thought to put in one spot for the whole exam, then you just include the academic integrity statement as the first page and upload all the pages at once. If you're unable to upload all pages at once, there are separate places where you could upload the exam a single page at a time, but it's a lot easier for me. It's really easiest for me if the academic integrity statement is separate and then if the exam is loaded as one whole document. I strongly encourage you to go to the place where you can do a practice submission of the exam. All I want you to do there is to write something out on a piece of paper and to scan it. If you're unsure about being able to upload multiple pages, it'd be great for me if you would do several pages, scan those, upload them, and I'll make sure that it's coming through in a way that I can see it. Please do that in advance because that just makes it so it's much less stressful for you during that 4-hour window. The other thing that I wanted to say is that the quizzes, if you've already taken 1 or 2 versions of a quiz and you've scored high enough that you're happy with your score and you feel comfortable with the material, there's no need for you to go back and take additional versions of the quiz. Um, if you've only taken one version of the quiz or you've taken two versions of the quiz and you don't have a score that you're happy with, then certainly go ahead and take whatever versions are remaining. Make sure you do that before midnight tomorrow night, Wednesday night, because that's when all the quizzes will close. The reason those all close then is because of what I'm about to say next, which is that there's no real reason for you to use the quizzes as a way to prepare for the exam explicitly. The quizzes give you foundational information that I think is really, really helpful, but they aren't going to specifically prepare you for the quiz. I mean, for the exam, because the exam is something that I've written. I wrote the PowerPoint slides, I wrote the worksheets. Those match up much more with my style of asking questions than the quizzes do. What else do I need to tell you? I think the only other thing that I really wanted to talk about just a little bit was SPSS. I was told that the link to the MyCloud instructions isn't working. I'll fix that right away. But the thing to really remember when you're in SPSS, using SPSS from the cloud, is that when you're in the cloud, you can only access files that are also in the cloud. So if you're working on SPSS through the cloud, that means you should go into Canvas, download what you need for the SPSS assignment, save it on your virtual desktop or in Box, then go into SPSS. You can access your virtual desktop or Box from there, I believe. I'm not sure about Box. I'm sure about the virtual desktop. I'm sure you can access Box because that's also in the cloud. So then do all your work, and then if you save your files there, then those files will be in the cloud also. So if you leave the cloud and go to Canvas, you won't be able to see those files. So you've got to then get out of SPSS, go into Canvas through the cloud, and then upload your files. And hopefully that way you'll have no trouble. Just looking at my notes to see if I've forgotten anything. I think that's it. I know people have been working really hard in this class. I sure appreciate the work you're putting in. I feel confident that you'll be prepared for the exam. Do the worksheet, do the PowerPoint. When you take the exam, it is closed book, but you'll have the formulas that you need. So all you should need is a pencil and a calculator, and either clean paper or a way to print out the exam. I think that's it. Do well. I know you can. I know you will. Do your best. And if you have any other questions, be sure to let me know. Okay,